Okay, Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to start Daf Tet Zayin. We'll start again from the bottom just to get in the flow. We're discussing the Klei Zichuchit. Let's start again all the way from the two dots. Klei Zichuchit, Mai Ta'ama Gazur Behu Rabbanan Tum'ah. Why did the rabbis make a gezerah that Klei Zichuchit should be tameh? Hare the Torah did not say that they're tameh. In the Torah, it only mentions metal and other kelim. Amar Rabbi Yohanan, Amar Resh Lakish, Ho'il v'tchilat biriyatan min ha'chol, shavinu Rabbanan kel klei cheres. Because they make them from sand. So there's a similarity to klei cheres. Klei cheres are made from dirt. Klei zichuchit are made from sand. They're both a process of taking little pieces that come from the ground and putting them together. There's a similarity. So they said people might make a mistake and say that klei cheres is tahor. So they said that the kli zichuchit is tameh. Says the Gemara, if so, there's different groups of kelim that have different properties. Klei cheres has a few properties. One of them is that you can't put it in a mikveh. Mikveh doesn't help for klei cheres. A second property of klei cheres is that it's mikabel tumah from the inside, from the avir without touching, and it gives tumah in the avir without touching, right? So if klei cheres has those properties, right? It gives. If you, we'll see a little bit later exactly how it works. But the klei cheres, if you put something and it touches the klei cheres, right, from the inside, doesn't even touch it, just in the air, everything is tameh. So those are two klei cheres properties. Does klei zichuchit have those properties? L'chaora, if you're making zichuchit tameh because you feel like it's similar to cheres, so the type of tumah that you should have given it is the tumah of klei cheres. You're telling me people are going to think it's klei cheres, so I make it tameh, so I should give it all the properties that klei cheres have, right? Ihachi lo te'et lahem tahara b'mikveh, and so maybe right, maybe yeah, maybe klei cheres doesn't become tahor in the mikveh. Alama tanan, didn't we learn ve'elu chotzetzim bekelim? These things are chotzetz by kelim. Hazefet ve'hamor beklei zichuchit. Right? So Rashi explains why is there a difference in the hatitzah. If it's a hatitzah, it should be a hatitzah on all kelim. So Rashi says, Hazefet ve'hamor garsinan beklei zichuchit shehen halakim. They're smooth. Ve'en adam makpid al tit ve'davar acher nidbak bahem. You don't get so upset. It doesn't bother you if there's a little bit of dirt on it. Why? Because you put it in the water, the dirt just falls off. And if it didn't fall off now, it'll fall off in 10 minutes. So that doesn't bother me because the dirt doesn't stick well to the klei zichuchit that's very smooth. V'hani, but zefet and more, which are really sticky, right? The midve ketuva, the kapid alayu, you makpid on it. Ve'en chotzetz ela davar makpid alav. In order to be chotzetz, you need two criteria, midoraita. Midoraita, to be a hatitzah, it has to be on the majority of the item, and it has to be something that you makpid on. Midrabanan, we said that even a minority is chotzetz if you makpid, and a majority is chotzetz even if you're not makpid. So if you have a little bit of a spot, if it's something that doesn't bother you, then it's not chotzetz. So if the dirt is not chotzetz, what's chotzetz by klei zichuchit? Only more than zefet. Very good. Whatever it is. But you see that the guy has a chatzitza on the klei zichuchit. Clearly, we're talking chatzitza on klei zichuchit because he wants to put it in the mikveh. If he wants to put it in the mikveh, it would seem that the mikveh helps. But if the reason why klei zichuchit is tameh is because it's like klei cheres, and klei cheres you can't put it in the mikveh, something's wrong. It shouldn't be worked in the mikveh. Tosafot says, Hare, we know, and we'll see it again later, that everybody agrees there's two types of going to the mikveh, of putting kelim in the mikveh. There's the mikveh that we do today, and there's the mikveh that they did then, right? For example, none of us takes our suits or shirts to the mikveh when we buy them, right?
We have to?
No, Baruch Hashem, right? But no, but sometimes they would take clothes to the mikveh. When would they take clothes to the mikveh? We spoke about it the other day. if you became tameh, if your clothes became tameh, v'rahatz et bisaro b'mayim, and what's it called, v'chibes begadav, he has to be mitaher his clothing. So clothing become tameh sometimes. And if you want to wear tahor clothing, which in the Beit HaMikdash you had to take your clothes and put them in the mikveh. Right? No problem. So clothing becomes tameh. That's one type of tevilah. Tevilah to make something tahor. There's a second type of tevilah. When you buy kelim from a goy, it needs tevilah. Now that tevilah really doesn't have to do with tumah and tahara. You just it's a special gezerat hakatuv that kelim that come from a goy need to be dipped. That's lokech kelim in a goy. By that, everybody agrees that klei zechuchit needs to be dipped because they're similar. Oh, now over there, when it comes to dipping new kelim, only metal kelim, only kelim that you use for food, right? Like I said, we don't dip suits. For tumah, we dip suits. For tumah, we dip everything. We dip chairs, we dip table, we dip all types of stuff need to be dipped. When it comes to buying new things, it's only utensils that you use for food. So that's different. So Tosafot says everybody agrees that you have to dip. You have to dip glass kelim that you buy new. So really, the Gemara could have answered. They could have said the reason why that Mishnah is talking about a hatzitza by glass is not when you're dipping kelim that are tameh. Kelim that are tameh, you're right. It's like licheres, it doesn't help. But it's talking about new kelim. Alamat tenan, look in Tosfot. Alamat tenan ve'elu chotzitzim bekelim. Ve'leke lemeimar, you can't tell me tahi tevilah bekelim hadashim mairi. That tevilah is talking about buying new kelim. Keshekonim min hanochrim, when you buy them from goyim. Keda amar besof masechet avodah zarah tetzrichi tevilah. Taha, why? Katani seifa beperek tet masechet mikvaot ala shulchan ve'ala tabla ve'ala dargash chotzitzin. It says it's chotzetz on the table. And like we said, you don't have to dip a table that you buy from goyim in the mikveh. Only stuff that you use for the meal has to be dipped in the mikveh. So that, the tevilah that Mishnah is talking about is clearly not talking about tevilat kelim chadashim. It's talking about tevilat kelim from tumah. Tevilat kelim from tumah shouldn't apply to glass because it's like a klecheres. So the Gemara comes with an answer. The Gemara says, Hacha b'mayaskinan. No, I'll tell you when it's possible to dip a klei zechuchit, even though normally it's like a klicheres and dipping won't help. Kegon shenikvu, you had a glass keli, it got a hole. So now, it wasn't like nowadays that everything that breaks, you just throw it out. They used to fix it. So he takes it to the guy. He can't put glass in there. It's not gonna stick. So what does he do? He takes lead. He puts lead in. Now the lead closes up the hole. So now without the lead, the whole thing is not going to work. What's making the whole keli work? The lead. So the lead is what we'll call a ma'amid. That's the linchpin. That's the pin that's holding the whole thing together. Is this, what's it called? Is this piece of lead? So shenikvu vehitiv letochan avar Rabbi Meiri da'amar hakol olech achar ma'amid. Rabbi Meir says, when you have two different materials, you want to know which one is the main material, which is the ikar. So there's two philosophies. You could say, take the majority. In this keli, there's much more glass, right? So we should consider it a glass keli. Or you could say, no, this keli, with all the glass that it has, it won't function. What's making it function? This little bit of lead. That little bit of lead is the ikar. Even though the lead wouldn't function without the glaze. Okay, whatever. But that's, for some reason, we're calling, we give it the quality of the lead, right? Hakol olech achar ma'amid. Detanya, klei zechuchit shenikvu. And this is an old mahloket. If you have a glass keli that had a hole, ve'tif letochan avar, and lead, and you put lead in it. Amar Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, mahloket. Rabbi Meir mitameh. Rabbi Meir says it's tameh. Rashi, v'lo amrinan, we don't say batil le mitorat keli. It stops being a keli. Kishar. You won't be in the video with us? V'lo amrinan batil le mitorat keli. We don't say it stops being a keli. Kishar klicheres hanishbar. Tekasavar halach achar ma'amid v'torat klei matchot alav. So Rabbi Meir says it goes back to being a keli like a metal keli. V'chachamim etaharim. The chachamim say it's tahor. Now, l'chaora, we spoke yesterday. This chachamim etaharim is difficult. Does the keli work? It works. You took it to the guy, it's patched. So you don't want to say that you don't want to follow the ma'amid. You don't want to say it's a real keli. Okay, don't say it's a real. Don't say it's a metal keli. Say it's a glass keli. A glass keli, you told me, is also mikabel tuma. Chachamim mitaharim. They say. You don't acknowledge that there's metal here. A refurbished doesn't exist.
So it became new keli. It became new keli, so that's tuma.
I didn't say that it's not tameh. Metameh means, sorry, you're right. Rabbi Meir, when Rabbi Meir says it's tameh, means it accepts tumah. And the Chachamim say it doesn't accept tumah. Why does it accept tumah? It's still a functioning keli. So Rashi hints to something that Tosfot explains but doesn't like. Rashi says, "V'lo amrina batili mitorat keli kishar klecheres hanishbar." There's a rule by a klecheres that a klecheres that breaks, even if you fix it, it's not mekabel tumah. Doesn't make a difference what you fix it with. So maybe you fix it with lead. But for example, you have a teacup, it broke, you glue it together, it's not mekabel tumah. So therefore, the Chachamim are going to say, this glass keli that has a piece of lead in it, that's a refurbished klicheres. Refurbished klicheres doesn't exist. Whereas the Rabbi Meir is saying, it's a refurbished klei matchot. It's a refurbished metal keli. Why is it metal? Hakol olech achar ma'amid. Metal kelim, even if they broke, when you put them back in service, they could be mekabel tumah again. That's the way Rashi learns it. Tosafot says you can't learn like that. Why? Because Tosafot says that Rabbi Meir argues on that. Rabbi Meir says, "Kol lecheres shetiher sha'a hat shuv en lo tumah le'olam." He holds in Tosafot, "Ki lecheres shetiher shuv yesh lo tumah." Rabbi Meir says when you refurbish a klicheres, it goes back to accepting tumah. So therefore, Tosafot doesn't like that explanation, and Tosafot says his own explanation. Tosafot says when it says Rabbi Meir mitameh midoraita, like a klei matchot, the Chachamim mitaharim midoraita b'mitameh derabanan. Also difficult. Anyway, ela me'ata. So now we're saying like this. We're saying a glass keli that became tameh, you can't even put it in the mikveh. It won't help. When do you put a glass keli in the mikveh to be mitaher? According to the Rabbi Meir, when it has lead in it, then it becomes like a klei matchot. Very good. Ela me'ata. So now that you're telling me that really glass is considered klicheres, lo litmu megaban, it should not become tameh from the outside. Alamatenan. Didn't we learn? Kle cheres uchle neter tumatan shava. Kle cheres is kelim that are made of clay. The kle neter is another type of dirt. It's made from some other dirt, right? Tumatan shaveh. The tuma is equal. They function the same. They're in the same group. Mitma'in umetame'in. Mitma'in means they become tameh. Nothing becomes tameh on its own. Mitma'in, they become tameh. Mitma'in, tamme'in. Right? Mitma'in, they become tameh. Mitamme'in, they make other people tameh, other things tameh. Me'avirehen, from the airspace. Oh, wow, Al, good word. Rashi. Mitma'im, tamme'im. Me'avirehem. Listen to this carefully, Jack. Nitli Rashi. Nitlit tuma ba'aviran. You have a klicheres, and you have some guy making a joke. He has this rat hanging on a string, and he lowers it from the ceiling into your keli to spook you. Didn't touch. Didn't touch. Right? Nitlit tuma ba'aviran, nitma min ha'avir. The whole keli became tameh from the air. No, not Shem and nothing. Not Rabbanan, de oraita. That's the way it goes.
It has to go
Into the airspace.
halal or
No, into the kibul. Good. Chazar v'tala ochlim ba'aviran. Then he went and he suspended a lollipop into the airspace. Didn't touch. Metamein et ha'ochlin. The ochl becomes tameh. Afal pi shelo nag'u tameh. So now, if I have the sheretz and the lollipop in the klecheres, yeah? So the sheretz is an av. What's the lollipop? No. It's a sheni. Because it's not like an oil. If I have a dead body in the room with me, right? So the dead body is avi avot, right? What am I? Av. Because being in a room with tuma, the whole room is full with tuma. It's like you touch the mit. So you go down one. Over here, we don't say that a kli cheres is an oil tum'ah. That's not what we're saying. When you hang in the kli cheres, the tum'ah goes to the keli, and the keli is metameh. Right. Rashi says, dichtiv, like it said, v'av pi shelo nagu tameh dichtiv, kol asher betocho yitma. Everything that's in the keli becomes tameh. Doesn't say kol asher yiga ba tameh. Let's say you have a kli cheres full of flour, right? And the sheretz went in the airspace. So I understand the flour on the outside will become tameh. I'm going to take a scoop from the inside of the inside of the inside. Like, tell me it's tameh tahor. For sure, didn't touch the outside. No, everything inside is tameh. Not yiga. Kol asher betocho yitma, va'afilu maleh hardal. Even if it's full of mustard seed. She'en nogea betfanotav el hasamuch ledefanot. So that's that line. Mitma'im umetameim me'avirehem. Umitma'in me'ahorehen ve'en mitma'in megabehen. So what's the difference? Gabehen is the outside. Ahorehem is the back. What's the difference? Right? So look at Rashi. Umitma'in me'ahorehen im nichnas tuma letoch ahorehem. Hey, Yoso, give me your cups. Yoso. Im nichnas tuma me'ahorehem. You see this? You have a bet kibul over there, right? You have some. You could actually put something in there. So even though more or less nobody wants to use this, but it's there. It's a bet kibul. So this is called ahorehem. This is the back. It's a reverse bet kibul. It's a reverse inside. This is gabehem. This is the back. There's no receptacle over there, right? So mitma'im me'ahorehem. Rashi. Im nichnas tuma letoch ahorehem. If tuma came in the back mi bahutz, bimkom hakak bet moshavam kederech she'osim lekle'etz. What? That this comes tameh there? Why? Right in here. The whole keli is tameh.
No, the inside of the upside down part is not tameh inside.
Yeah, I think so. I think the whole thing is tameh. Yeah. I think so. Why not?
Because it didn't go in there.
Is this a keli? Rashi says, Jack, umit ma'im me'ahorehem im nichnas tuma letochar mibahutz b'mkom hakak. Ve'en mitma'im megaban dichtiv el tocho. But this is considered el tocho. If this is el tocho, the whole thing is tameh. Tosafot toys with that. Tosafot toys back and forth.
But the outside for sure is not.
The outside, right? And the outside, it's not mekabel tuma. V'shviratan mitaharatan. And when you break it, it's tahor, like we said. So now, which kelim are listed in this Mishnah? Kli Cheres and Kli Neter. What about Kli Zichuchit? It's not listed in this Mishnah. These are not the rules for Kli Zichuchit. Why not? If the reason why your Kli Zichuchit is Tameh is because you consider it like a Kli Neter and a Kli Cheres, so give it the same rules. Tumatan Shaveh, Avamid Yahrini Lo. Amri, they said, Kivan Dechi Nishtabru. Yesh Lahem Takana. Shavinu Kekli Matchot. So the answer that they gave in the yeshiva was like this. There's Kli Zichuchit is like a hybrid. Why? On one hand, you make it from dirt, from sand. So it's like Kli Cheres. On the other hand, Kli Cheres, when you break, you put it back together, it really doesn't stick. You have a little glue, it leaks. The most you can do with the teacup is put it in the display cabinet if it's part of a set. But you're not drinking hot coffee from that teacup. It's not working, right? So Kli Cheres doesn't really fix when it breaks. Metal keli, melt it, start again. Or you could solder it together. No, you can't. Zchuchit, you could do that. Zchuchit, you can melt. There's no melting cheres. Right? So on the other hand, the Kli Zchuchit has another similarity to metal. That if you melt it down, you could start again. You could solder it. You could that. So he says, Kivan dechi nishtabru. Yesh lahem takana. You could fix them. Shavinu kekle matchot. That it's mitameh from the outside also. Rashi says, okay. Ela me'ata yahziru letum'atan yishana. If that's the case, they should go back to the old tum'ah. What? Yeah. Go back to the old tum'ah. What does it mean, go back to the old tum'ah? The Tanan we learned. Kle matchot, metal kelim, peshutehen, flat ones, kablehem temeim. Because we know by kli etz, by wood kelim, in order to be mekabel tum'ah, it has to be the type of keli that has a receptacle. You have a wooden cup, it's mekabel tum'ah. If you have a wooden skewer, it's not mekabel tum'ah. It's a fully functional keli. I make barbecue with it all the time. Not mekabel tum'ah. Not because it's no good, because that's the gezerat hakatuv. Wood kelim are only mekabel tum'ah if they have a receptacle. Metal skewer, mekabel tum'ah. What? Metal is. That's a kle matchot. Metal is. I don't think paper is mekabel tum'ah. I don't think so. Not a big expert, but I don't think so. What? Anything without a bet kibul. I'm just giving an example of a skewer. What? The grill on the oven. You could. Wait, be patient. So let's go. Tetanan. We're just defining which types are mekabel tum'ah. Tetanan. Kle matchot. Peshutehem. The flat ones. No bet kibul. You have a flat tray made out of metal. It's mekabel tum'ah. Kablehem. And the ones that have a bet kibul. Teme'i. It's tahor. No lip. Flat, tahor. The pizza item, right? Not mekabel tum'ah. No. The thing that the Aige uses to take it out of the oven. You know what I'm talking about? The big flat thing that the guy uses? That guy. I don't think it has a lip. No bet kibul echad. That's tahor. I'm not talking the tray. I'm talking about the flat, that item. If it's made of wood, it's tahor. Right? If it's made out of metal, tameh. That's the difference. Good? Peshutehem kablehem temeim. Nishberu. If it broke, taharu. Anything broken becomes tahor. Yeah. When it breaks, it's tahor. The tumah goes away. Hazru. Okay, whatever. No. Every keli has a rule. We're not going to go. Every keli, when it becomes not functional to a large degree, right? Hazar. We'll see. You'll see it on the next page. Every wait, you'll see. Right? Hazar ve'asa mehem kelim. If he went back, he melted down the metal, and he made a kelim again. Hazru letumatan yishana. Amazing. The old tumah that left came back. We'll see why later. Don't even bother. We're going to see. We just need the definition. So by metal, we have a rule that if you broke it and then you fixed it again, you didn't get anywhere. Take it to the mikveh. The old tumah came back. We'll see why later. Don't worry. You rebuilt it, and not only that, the tumah came back, reinfected.
How is that? If you left, how do you kill it?
Yeah, no, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking mikveh, tumah. Guy, it touched the sheretz. Now it's tameh. I can't eat tumah with it.
Melt it down.
Right?
Does that melting it down process get rid of the...
Yes.
But then it comes back.
If you make it again, it comes back. We'll see. Add that metal. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. That you're asking a good question. I don't know. Let's just deal with what we have. Good question. Let's deal with what we have. Right? The Tanan, ve'ilu gabe klei zechuchit, by glass tinan, kele etz, wood.
What if you make a utensil that's not the exact one,
I don't. Another good question. I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know the law. We can look it up later. Tanan, klei etz, ve'klei or, ve'klei etzim, ve'klei zechuchit, wood, leather, bone, or glass. Peshutehem, flat ones are tahor. What? No, that's metal. That's klei matchot. That's all metal. Peshutehem, the flat ones are tahor. Mekablehem, the ones that receive are tameh. Nishbiru, if they broke, taharu, they tahor. Hazar ve'asa mehem kelim, if he made them into new kelim, mekablin tumah mikanul haba. They get tumah going forward, but the old tumah didn't come back. If you're telling me that glass, you made a new keli, so it's not. It's like it's a new keli. Whereas by metal, the old tumah comes back. Okay, right? Hazar v'asamim mikablim mikanul haba in lemafreya lo. They didn't make the gezerah of old kelim. Now, if you're telling me that the reason why glass is like metal, that it should be mikabel tumah from the outside, is because it has this property that you could fix it. Right. So l'chaora, they should have put the gezerah of fixing on glass too. So we say, says the Gemara, tumat kele zechuchit derabanan. The tumah of glass is derabanan. V'tumah yishana derabanan. This, that the old tumah comes back, is not the oraita. It's the rabbanan. It's a gezerah. We'll see why. It's a gezerah. So to make a gezerah on glass is a gezerah legezerah. They didn't want to make it. Right? Bitumah de oraita. When the keli is tameh de oraita, hitu barabanan, they put back the old tumah. Bitumah de rabbanan. Yes. Bitumah de rabbanan. When the tumah of the keli is only the rabbanan, lo ahitu la rabbanan tumah. Says the Gemara, peshutehen mi halitma. Another question. We said by metal, flat kelim atameh. By wood, flat kelim atahor. Glass is in the wood category. Flat glass is tahor.
You can't consider like that.
What? That's what it says. Now the Gemara says, if you're telling me that we gave glass the properties of metal and of heres, so be mahmir and say that the flat glass is like, no, if we saying it's like the wood, it should be like the metal. Be mahmir. Don't, and flat metal is the oraita. So you should have made the gezerah by wood, just like you said that it's mikabel tumah from the outside. Says the Gemara, Deha pshutek le matchot de oraita ninu. Avdi behu rabanan hekera. The Chachamim made a heker. They did something out of the normal rules. Ki heichi de lo lisrof alayu teruma vekodashim. Because since it's only the Rabbanan, if teruma touches this glass keli midoraita it's tahor. So therefore you can't burn it. You'll be burning teruma that midoraita is tahor. What? Tolim ota, exactly, tolim. Rashi says, Avdi Rabbanan hekera betumat kle zechuchit v'chilku ba. And they differentiated it mitumat deoraita lehodia to teach us shehimi divrehem, that it's only the Rabbanan. V'lo yisrefu alea tiruma v'kodashim. Delo sarfi tiruma mishum tiruma Rabbanan. There's only 6 that we learned yesterday. There's only 6 tumot Rabbanan that you burn the tiruma for. Bar min vav sifekot that we learned on Tet Vav Amud Bet. So the Chachamim specifically put glass to be a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Why? So when a guy looks into it, he'll say, this glass stuff doesn't make sense. Is it here or is it there? Rabbi, what's with glass? Is it chuchit or is it wood? And the rabbi will tell him it's the Rabbanan, and therefore don't burn terumah. They specifically made it strange.
When something becomes tameh,
Yes, something becomes tameh.
originate from? Is it from a person touching it? Has to originate from a person?
No, could be from a rat. Could be from a lot of things. From where? Yeah, I think all tumah originates from living things. To the best of my knowledge. What? No, living things that died. Tumah really originates from forms of death. That has nothing to do with it. No. I told you. The new things that we dip has nothing to do with tumah. That's a gezerata katuv that you have to dip it. Even though it's not tameh and it's not going to become tahor, gezerata katuv, it belonged to a goy, you have to dip it. To the point that if it was in your house and you sold it to the goy and bought it back, it didn't change. It was in my closet the whole time. You have to dip it. Chamuvadia says, don't sell your utensils. Only sell your chametz. Could be.
So you can sell all your house.
Some people want to sell everything. No, don't sell you. I sell the chametz in my closets. I don't sell the kilim. I don't sell my forks. Sell the bread. Hazar Baruch. He doesn't have to own the fork. He could come take the bread off the fork.
What kind of tumah we have together?
We have all types of tumah.
Should I see today? We have if the sheret goes.
Hey, nachinami. So what? It's not more tameh than you. You're tameh met. Don't worry about it. Okay. Next. Says the Gemara. Rav Ashi Amar. Rav Ashi says a different answer. He goes back all the way to the beginning. We said that klei zechuchit is like lecheres. Right? So we said tara in the mikveh. No, it doesn't have tara in the mikveh. Next question was, why does it mikabel tumah from the outside? Hare klecheres doesn't mikabel tumah from the outside. So we said, well, we made it like metal because it's like metal a little bit. Rav Ashi says, no, it's not like metal. It's not like metal. You know why it's mitameh from the outside? Because it's see-through. Zechuchit is see-through. So when you touch the outside, it's like you touch the inside. Right. We don't dip it. It's tameh. It's very tameh. We don't dip it because it's not going to help. You need paraduma. And you have paraduma? Not at the present moment. Not lately. Okay. Now forget that. It's not enough to have a paraduma, AB. You have to have the Kohen Gadol, on Harazetim, Bet HaMikdash. We got a while. Hopefully soon. But at present time, doesn't take it to the mikveh. Not going to help. They didn't make a difference. Because generally, even if it's translucent if it's not transparent. Right? Gemara. Rav Ashi Amar le'olam leklecheres damu 100%. That's why mikablehem, the flat ones are tahor, because it's a klecheres. That's why the Tumah Yishana doesn't come back, because it's a klecheres. Everything is like a klecheres. So how come you could, if you touch it on the the outside it becomes tameh, because when you touch it on the outside, you see it through the inside. It's like you touch the inside. Once they did it most of the time, Hazal Baruch. Rav Ashi Amar le'olam lekle cheres damu. Utkakashi lecha lo litmu migaban. They shouldn't become tameh on the outside. Ho'il v'nir'eh tocho kebarho. You see the inside like the outside, so therefore they made the gezerah. Shimon ben Shetach. New topic. Shimon ben Shetach tiken ketubah le'isha v'gazar tuma al kle matchot. Says the Gemara. What Shimon ben Shetach decreed that kle matchot should be tameh mideoraita. Kle matchot should be tameh midrabanan. Kle matchot deoraita ninu. Dichtiv ach et hazahav ve'et hakesef. Says you have to. It says you have to purify the metal. Says the Gemara, lo netzrecha ela letuma yishana. The tuma that Shimon ben Shetach decreed on metal was that the old tuma should come back, like we said before. That if you broke it and you fixed it, the old tuma comes back. That's what he decreed. What's the story? Maybe listen to the story. It's a great story. The Amar, no, that's not the case. Right? The Amar view, the Amar Rav. Ma'aseh b'shel Tzion Malka. Over here they have the Girsah Shel Tzion. I don't know, in modern Hebrew there's a street called Shlom Tzion Malka. Right? So maybe it's the same person. Ma'aseh b'shel Tzion Malka. She'asta mishteh libna. She made a party for her son. V'nitmi'u kol keleha. Here she has a problem. They set up the party. Everything is ready. It's the morning of the party. Some Aigay dies in the room. Now the whole party is tameh. She's not making a tameh party. So what? To make para aduma is going to take her 7 days. You have to sprinkle shilishi u'shvi'i. I canceled the party. So she spoke to her people. Right? She says, you got to find me a solution. So what they do? V'shabartan, they broke them all. Untanatam letzoref, they gave them to the smelter. V'ritechan ve'asamem kelim hadashim. They melted them, they remade them, they put them back on the tables, all within 24 hours.
Said that when you melt them and you put it back together, it comes back.
This is before they made that gezerah. This is why they did it. She ruined it for everybody, right? So she melted them.
Well, what's wrong with that?
She's the queen, Rabbi.
She was the queen.
Wouldn't it be easier to buy new ones?
I don't know. Gold is expensive, right? Shimon ben Shetach, yeah. So we say v'ritechan ve'asa mehem kelim hadashim ve'amru chachamim, and the rabbis of the time, who Shimon ben Shetach, a brother, said, yahzeru letumatan yishana. The old tuma comes back. My ta'ama, what's the reason? Mishum geder mehatat nag'uba. Because like this, people will stop using the mehatat.
We don't make hatat.
Why should you wait? They had mehatat. Why should I wait for paraduma 7 days? I'll do it the expressway. Yeah, but it's faster. It's like express passport. It costs you extra $200, but it takes 1 day.
The first recycle move.
First recycle. Let's see. Rashi. Geder mehatat nimtza mehatat betelim. The mehatat will be batel. She'en lecha adam mamtin zayin yamim. Nobody's going to wait 7 days. Ela shovran. He's just going to break him. V'tishtakach torat mehatat. The Torah of mehatat is going to be forgotten from Am Yisrael.
Everybody will do that. It costs a lot of money to do that.
What?
To redo everything. But that doesn't cost anything.
Okay.
Cheaper than buying a new one?
Yeah, probably. Well, I told you, we live in the throwaway generation. Let's go. Ela, labor was cheap then. Now labor is expensive. Says the Gemara, Hanicha, this is what you tell me the reason why they made the gezerah is because if they let you melt it and put it back together, nobody's going to wait for mehatat. Hanicha leman de'amar lo lekol hatumot amru ela letumat hamet bilvad. If you say that they only made the gezerah by tumat met, it's good because tumat met is very prone to this because it takes 7 days. Some people might melt it and break it and put it back together. Ela lemanda amar lekol atumot. They made a gezerah by all the tumot. Why did they? Hare by all the tumot, it's much faster to put it in the mikveh. Ma'ika lemeimar amar Abaye gezerah shema lo yikabenu b'chdei taharato. This goes to what Abi was saying. How much do you have to break it? So if you look in Masechet Kelim, for every keli, they tell you how big of a hole you have to have in it. Motzi zetim, motzi rimonim, whatever it is, right? So whatever the keli is, there's an amount that makes it not functional. So now, you have this keli, you want to make it tahor. So what do? You make a hole in it. Okay, take it to the guy, patch it up, hazal baruch. How much of a hole are you looking to make? As little as possible. So, and now every guy is going to decide how. Rabbi, not everybody's asking. A lot of times the holes are going to be nothing. Put a pinhole. Yeah, they told me you put a pinhole. The rabbi told me you put a pinhole. Yeah,
What happened?
The shadim can go through.
In Hebrew it's called
Kombina. Okay.
Find the loop.
So that's Abaye's thing. Abaye says, Gezerah shema lo yikavenu b'chdei taharato. And that applies to all tumot. Rava Amar, Gezerah shema yomru tevilah bat yoma olela. Rava says, you know the problem is? When you go to the mikveh, you take your keli to the mikveh. When could you first use it, Albert? No, not to Mamed. Ha'arev shemesh. I have to wait till the nighttime. But if I break it and I put it back together, when can I use it? Immediately. So now, instant. So now people are going to see, they'll say, yeah, there's two ways you can make something tahor. Either you take it to the mikveh, or you make a hole in it. So there's when you put a hole in it, you use it right away. So the mikveh also use it right away. They're going to forget that you have to wait till the night.
Wait, so if you dip a kale, you have to wait until the night to use it?
No, because there's nothing to do tumah. Okay. The Tanat, so that's all. Shema Yom, my benayu, what's the difference between Avaya's reason and Rava's reason? The Ratzpenu Mertzaf, that he crushed them into oblivion. So what's the difference? Look in the Rashi, it's classic. The Ratzpenu Mertzaf, Herikan Veshebaran Kulan. Kemo Ma'acholet Ritzufa. Why? Shema lo yikbenu, maybe he's not going to make a hole leka. He crushed it. Veshema yomru, maybe they'll say tevilah bat yoma ika. V'ika da amri, that's one shot. Others have learned the opposite. Shema lo yikavena ika. Breaking is breaking. I don't care how much you broke it. Shema yomru leka. De lo minkar asiya shenet hadesh kulo vezenikar nere be'enai. That's again what Abi was saying before. It says if you made it totally new. So maybe according to Rava, it's only a problem if you could see that it's the old keli.
How is the Mishaneh that people might think?
If I make a hole in the bottom and then I patch it, so everybody sees it's the same keli, same design, same shahwar. But when I crushed it to pieces, yeah, and the guy made it new, it's not going to look the same. It's a new keli.
No, but how Mishaneh the Hashash that it's not Ben Yomah?
What?
It's for two reasons, Rashi. The second reason that it might Hashash Tevilah Ben Yomah.
Right.
How is breaking it more, taking away that Hashash?
Because it's not nikar. You can't see it's the same keli. They're not going to say Tevilah bat yuma. Tevilah bat yuma is when they said, just like I made a hole and I put it back is good, so I put a mikveh, put it back. Make a new keli is like...
You make a hole, you fix it, and you get it after 2 hours.
Says the Gemara, V'idach Hazal Baruch. V'idach Maihi. What's the next gezerah? The Tanan we learned, Hameniach kelim tachat hatzinor. You have a pipe that puts water in the mikveh. Rashi says, how could it be? Isn't the pipe a keli that should make it shuvim? So Rashi says, the kav'o ve'harka hakako. You cemented it into the ground. You took a piece of metal or wood. You cemented it into the ground. Now it's part of the floor. Then I carved the pipe after it's part of the ground. So it never became a keli. It was never loose. Good. Right? The kiva'o ve'harka hakako. Hameniach kelim tachat hatzinor lekabel bahem megeshamim, to get the rainwater. So now you wanted the water in the keli. Echad kelim gedolim ve'echad kelim ketanim. Afilu klei avanim ve'klei adama ve'klei gelalim. Each one has a chidush. Poslim et mikveh. The water that went into those kelim will be posel the mikveh. Echad aminiach, whether you put it there to catch the water, ve'echad shocheach, or whether you forget it there. Even if you forgot it there, doesn't make a difference.
Well, the mikveh here was talking about if you put 40 se'ah. So you do it maybe 10 years ago, you put 40 se'ah, and just add water.
That's fine. That's not what this is talking. I'm making a mikveh. Right?
Why is it posel the mikveh?
Because it's shuvim, it went in a keli. Rainwater is only rainwater until it goes into a keli. Once it goes into a keli, it's called maim shuvim.
Then you put it in the mikveh?
Yeah. All right. Echad meniach, whether you put it there, ve'echad shocheach, or if you forget it there. Divrei Bet Shammai. That's what Bet Shammai says. Ubet Hillel metaharim b'shocheach. Bet Hillel says if you forget it there, it's tahor. You forgot the keli there. You didn't put it there. You left. You put it down there, and then you forgot it there. I didn't have da'at that the water should go into the keli, so it wasn't sha'uv because I wanted it. Says the Gemara. So we have a mahloke Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Bet Shammai says shocheach still makes it shuvim. Bet Hillel says shocheach doesn't make it shuvim. Amar Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir says nimnu vera'abu Bet Shammai al Bet Hillel. This is from the things that Bet Shammai outnumbered Bet Hillel. Where did Bet Shammai outnumber Bet Hillel? Up in that attic. Right? So this is part of those 18 things. Umodim Bet Shammai. Bet Shammai agrees that if you didn't forget it under the pipe, you forgot it in the hatzer, shehu tahor, that it's tahor. Amar Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi says, no, adayin mahloke b'mkoma umedet. Rabbi Yossi says, they never voted on this one. This one, they didn't vote on in the attic. Says the Gemara. So therefore, Rabbi Meir holds this is from the 18 things. Rabbi Yossi holds it's not. Amar Misharshia Deber Rav Amri, they say in the yeshiva like this. Hakol modim, everybody agrees, kishini cham b'shat kishur avim temeim. Everybody agrees that if you put the kelim under the pipe when it was cloudy, about to rain, even though he forgot them, it's tameh. Why? Because he knew it was coming. Forgot them, didn't forget them, he knew it was coming. Rashi, hinicham tachat hatzinor b'shat kishur avim. He put it there when it was cloudy. Ve'ichru geshamim lavo. The rains didn't come. V'yatza lemlachto. He went out to work. V'shechacham. He forgot them. Divrei hakol. Everybody agrees. Everybody agrees. Ho'ilu mitchila lekach nitkaven. Because that's what he put him there for, to catch it. Lo batla machshavto. His machshava of catching water didn't go away because he forgot them there. B'shat pizur avim, if he put it when it was sunny, right? Divrei hakol tehorim. Everybody agrees it's tahor. Why? Because putting them under the pipe when it's sunny doesn't mean I was waiting for the rain. Maybe I just put them there. Lo nihlaku ela shenicham b'shat kishur avim. He put it there when it was sunny. Well, when it was cloudy. V'nit pazru, the clouds went away. V'hazru v'nit kashru, and it came back. Mor savar batla mahashavto. Bet Hillel holds. Finished. Your mahshava is gone. That rain never came. Umor savar and Bet Shammai says lo batla mahshavto. So I wanted rain. Rain came. What's in the same rain, different rain? So that's one of the 18 things according to the Rabbi Meir. Ul Rabbi Yossi de Amar, according to Rabbi Yossi, that says mahloket b'mkoma umedet. That this is still the same mahloket. Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel never voted on this. So what are you going to replace it with? Says the Gemara, Af Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Af benot kutim nidot me'arisatam bo bayom gazru. They made a gezerah that a kuti girl is considered a nidah in her crib. L'may nafkamina, that if she touches something, it's tameh. Right? Why? Rashi explains, Nidot me'arisatan, miyom shenoldu, from the day they're born. The gazrin and dilma hazai nidut, maybe she saw some blood. Diktana bat yoma mitama benida. Even a girl when she's 1 day old can be mitame benida. And supposedly, it's not so uncommon because sometimes they have the mother's hormones and they see some sort of like a phantom spotting. But the halacha is that it's tameh, right? Diktana bat yoma mitama benida. Detanya en li ela isha tinoket bat yom echad lenida minayin tamud lomar veisha. The vav is extra to include a ktana. Vekutim and dorshi midrash there. They don't follow the chachamim. They don't have this tirasha. V'chi chazyan. So if they'll have a girl that will see when she's a baby, they're not going to give her tevilah. They're not going to say, oh, she's a nida. Hilkach gazar b'urabanan. They said all the kutim, all the girls are tameh nida from the day they're born. Day they're born. So that's also from the Yud Chet Davar. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Tomorrow.